Hey everyone, you're listening to Wasted Pitch, a show for the not so serious baseball lover. Join us as we discuss, debate, and dive into a wide range of baseball topics from the past and present. Hosted by three friends with a lifelong love of America's game. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
How's it going tonight?
Doing well. Keeping warm.
Splendid.
Keeping warm. What is that picture, Eric? What do you have on your shelf there?
Behind me,
Behind you, yeah.
that is a autographed photo of Matthew Broderick.
Oh, is that like your favorite actor or something?
No, it's just an autographed photo I have.
Just random? How did you get it?
My dad got it for me when I was a kid. Not a kid, probably a teenager.
Last year for my birthday.
I don't remember where he got it, but very possibly. Yeah, I don't know where he got it, but yeah, it was just kind of, we put it on the shelf as kind of a joke that
That he murdered somebody?
two people.
That's right.
Manslaughter, not
Oh,
murder.
yeah.
Manslaughter sounds way better.
Okay, let's get it going. Enough about murder.
Before we slander a
Yeah.
Hollywood star.
Yeah, exactly. Let's check out some quick hits of the week.
Quick hits.
This is our new little segment. We're gonna quick hits. So Terry Francona got his scooter back. Apparently, a couple weeks ago, he was in Cleveland for like a fan experience thing with the Guardians, and he had his electric scooter stolen.
And apparently, he's quite the icon around the city, zipping around traffic in the scooter.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
It sounds like he lives close to the stadium and like rides this thing to work.
Is
all
it like
the
a
time.
moped scooter or is it like the little scooter two-wheel thing, the
Yes.
razor?
It's a sit down.
It is. Okay. Like an action.
It's a sit down.
Got it.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a razor. He's not rolling.
Man,
around
I don't know,
with this.
dude. He's a pretty cool guy. He's pretty hip.
I would pay money to see that, though.
Yeah. Some idiot decided to steal it while he was in town, but thankfully, Terry and the scooter were reunited. That sounds like a band name or like a buddy cop
Terry
movie.
on the scooter.
Terry and the scooter.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Mookie goes bowling. I'm sure you guys know by now that Mookie is not only a great baseball player, but he's a great bowler as well. Kind of cool. I guess he's competing in the U.S. Open over in
US Open of
Indianapolis.
bowling. Yep.
And he's in 19th place, which is pretty good because I think there's like 300 people competing or some
Wow.
shit like that.
I mean,
That's really good.
to be that dominant in two sports is pretty incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
I don't know if 19th is dominating, but
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it sounds like he doesn't play that much throughout the year, so
right.
he's busy with baseball, man.
Top
That's pretty
20
cool.
in the world, though. I mean, that's dominating.
In the world. Well,
Oh,
in the
in the
U.S.
US.
In the U.S.
Okay, never mind. U.S. No. Okay.
But really, I mean,
No, that's awesome. We've all seen those clips of him on ESPN and whatnot. He's really good.
Mm-hmm. Dexter Fowler decided to hang up the cleats for good.
kind
And
of
guys,
might not have necessarily been his choice, but
Yeah. And if I'm being honest, I had no idea that he was still playing. Or was he? He wasn't still playing, was he?
he was released from his Toronto minor league contract in May of last year.
Okay.
So he didn't really have a place to go.
Big,
And it didn't sound like there's a lot of want for him.
Big-
Yeah. Well, he's getting up there in age, right? He's
like mid-30s, I think.
mid-30s.
Dexter Fowler fact.
36, almost
Dexter
37.
Fowler fact. First person or one of two or three people to lead off Game 7 of the World Series with a home run.
Oh,
I believe he's the only one.
Is he the only one?
think.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll fact check that after the show, but I think so.
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Maybe, was it first pitch?
Man,
I don't know if it was first pitch. I remember seeing it when
Hell
it
yeah.
happened.
first pitch.
I don't think it was first pitch.
That
Okay.
would be awesome.
This one is a little surprising. Jazz Chisholm was chosen as the cover athlete for MLB The Show 2023.
Yeah. nothing against Jazz Chisholm. Great player.
Yeah.
Cover level athlete.
It's not really the guy I figured they would go with, to be honest with you. I think Paul's boy Julio Rodriguez kind of came to mind.
So much more the face, or a face known, a rising star. Like that would have made way more sense. But yeah,
well, and just a better player
and a better player. I mean,
let's face facts here.
For sure. That's cool for him, though.
But congrats to Jazz, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Cool achievement.
I'll still be playing no matter what.
Finally, white guys over 60 can rejoice because Shohei Ohtani just signed an endorsement deal with New Balance.
Get that dad gear in.
That's right. It looks like he'll be releasing a limited edition cleat in the old 574 sneaker design. I don't think he's going to go with the dad sneaker, though. The crisp white.
They said that the cleat is the first release of a multi-year contract.
Okay.
I could not find how many years. Everything says multi-year.
Yeah, I never found specifics either. But did you see the
could
picture?
Could be anything from 2 to 30.
The picture that New Balance posted of him?
Of the cleat?
Of him in the cleat?
I did not.
They posted one, and they said something about, we don't know what color uniform he's going to be wearing next year, but what we do know is he's going to be wearing New Balance.
All right, here's a fun fact for you. On this date, in 1965, the National League clubs adopted an emergency team replacement plan to restock any club struck by disaster.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea this existed. So I looked it up, and MLB actually still has a plan in place that is known as a disaster draft. Did you guys know about this?
This is ringing some bells.
Uh-huh. So if something happens where multiple members of the team are dismembered, dead, or permanently disabled, then the commissioner can hold a restocking draft that allows the disabled team to draft as many players as it lost, with the restriction that no more than one player can be drafted from a non-disabled team. So basically they take players from other teams if their team has like some sort of disaster that strikes them.
You would think the first thing they would do is obviously like restock from within, AAA, AA, kind of all that stuff as well. But I guess, maybe if it's major league players taking other major league ready players from other teams that are ready to go to kind of keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. Well, was there something that kicked this off? Was there a close call or something?
I don't remember. It happened it started in 1965. I would assume that there was something that happened.
Yeah.
To make it.
I'm wondering if, because the first thing that comes to my mind is plane crash. Yeah. Which would explain like doing the draft quickly and getting players to the handicapped team right away, doing it from within, kind of like the hockey expansion draft. Train crash or a bus crash. I mean,
either way,
they do all travel together no matter what mode of transportation they're taking. But yeah, that's super interesting that they put that in place.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting is that each of the non-disabled teams, so all the other teams in the league, they have to select 5 players available from their active roster. And it has to be one catcher, one pitcher, one outfielder, one infielder, and then one player of any position that team chooses. So they have to make like players readily available in that instance.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this is all like the commissioner has all the power to determine whether it needs to happen or not. Kind of crazy.
Got to keep those TV people happy.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing that we didn't know about this and it hasn't been used.
Exactly. That's one of those rules that we didn't really need to know about, but now we do, thanks to Wasted Pitch. We're here for you, everybody. We got you. All right, let's talk MLB expansion. This is something that has kind of started to gain some traction over the past few years, including some remarks from Rob Manfred stating the desire to do so, basically. Kind of sounds like the holdup right now is that Oakland and Tampa Bay have yet to make up their minds on whether or not they will remain in their respective cities or if they will choose to build a new stadium, basically, in their current stadium. I don't know. At this point, it seems likely that the A's are going to be going to Vegas, which
very likely
makes me super sad. In fact, I saw a story the other day reporting on talks that they had with the city of Vegas to determine potential spots for a stadium.
I thought they were already building a stadium out there.
Not a baseball stadium.
I haven't seen anything that shows that they're already building one. I know that they've found potential locations that they would build one, but I haven't seen any ground broken in that instance.
They did recently build a minor league ballpark.
Okay.
For the Las Vegas Aviators.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sad thinking about Oakland moving to Las Vegas. I think we've had this discussion before, maybe not on this podcast, but it's one of those things that's like Oakland deserves to have that baseball team there.
Yeah.
And even though I know there's still ongoing talks with the city of Oakland, the outlook just seems grim.
It's never gotten anywhere in years.
And I think the current lease on that ballpark ends in 2024. So I think that's why Rob Manfred is trying to say, like, hey, let's get a move on this because I want to expand, but we're kind of waiting around for you guys to get your shit together and figure out what you're going to do next, because that could have some impact or change where they're going to put those expansion teams.
So
Definitely.
What cities are they thinking?
Because there will be a baseball team in Vegas.
There will be. Absolutely. Yeah. What other cities are they thinking? Like I heard one time Montreal was a potential spot. Nashville was a potential spot. Wasn't Austin?
For Memphis.
So there's a short list of cities that have been identified as candidates for expansion teams. And there's 5 basically that are on that short list. There's Portland, Oregon, Nashville, Charlotte, Montreal, and Vegas. Manfred has even kind of thrown out the idea of possibly expanding to Mexico City.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think in terms of dollars and cents, that would be a huge market to break into. But I don't know if that's closer than, if they would be closer to doing a deal there than they would in a city like Montreal or Las Vegas or something like that. I don't know. It sounds like each of these cities has great potential, and there's a lot of interest in all of those markets. There's already been, some of these cities have already put out plans for stadiums and started to kind of get the ball rolling on that. But I think it seems like there's a catch with all of these.
Portland team, I believe Russell Wilson is one of the investors.
I did see that. I mean, I would love to see a team in Portland. I think it's a great baseball city, or it could be a great baseball city. It was at one point with their minor league teams and their independent league teams. I think the problem is that even though MLB would stand to benefit financially by having an expansion, I think I read that with each expansion, MLB stands to benefit another $2 billion.
Holy mackerel.
A year.
Well, of course Manfred wants to do it then. You could totally take away some of these, like we talked about, 19 series against the same people in your division, and add some more teams and just spread the word more, spread the game out more. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the outlook is a little less emphatic from the TV market side of things. I think that's where they're going to run into trouble. Like, you got to look at, a city like Portland, it looks great on paper, and I think the city would get behind it, but it's not a big TV market in terms of, you've already got Seattle, who kind of dominates the sports market in that area, right? You have the Mariners, the Seahawks.
But when I lived in Bend, Oregon, Bend was full of like Giants fans, the San Francisco Giants fans, 49ers fans. Like, Oregon's like a mishmash of everything.
Yeah, and that's because they're kind of, San Francisco is closer than Seattle when you're in Bend. Relatively closer.
What large television market haven't they capitalized on yet? they have all you have left are medium-sized markets now.
Yeah,
It's true.
and that's the issue. And I think, like I said, like with Portland, I think you would run into some troubles because that would cut into Seattle's TV market, right? Because they're currently the Mariners are being broadcast in Portland, and so if that happens, that takes away a big market for
It would suck
Mariners,
for the Mariners directly,
right?
but think about
Not that anybody cares about the Mariners, but
come on now. But think about all those teams out like DC and Baltimore are like right across the river from each other's stuff, right? I mean, that was a huge deal when the Nationals moved into Washington DC. As far as sharing the market and all
there,
that.
though.
Yeah, I mean, a little more crowded than here.
It's all about population. I would think that a city like Montreal or Charlotte would probably be their best case scenario in terms of TV market. Maybe Nashville because there's nothing else in the surrounding area.
Yeah, there's no other sports period.
Predators.
Well, they have the Titans. I don't know. I would love to see it happen. I think the problem is the TV markets. And I think just last week we heard that Bally Sports could be filing for bankruptcy.
Yep.
Wow.
And they're currently the broadcast network for 13 MLB teams right now. So
Wow.
if we see an expansion in a new market, it's going to have to be a perfect fit for whoever has the media rights and the owners of the team, because they're the ones who are going to be losing out on dollars as well if they get into a situation where they're not getting a big TV contract, which is why Mexico City would be beneficial for everyone involved.
Speaking of TV rights, not to divert the conversation, but did you all get the Apple TV email today about the MLS package?
Mm-mm.
$99 every match, including playoffs, no blackouts.
That's pretty cool. $100 for the whole season.
$100 for
Every
everything.
team, every game, $100
all year
for the
all
entire season.
long. Wow, that's pretty straightforward. I
MLB
like that.
could learn something from that.
Yes, they could.
Well, and yeah, I just saw, I don't, you guys probably saw this too, but YouTube TV is no longer going to have MLB Network on it because of some like contract negotiation that they couldn't work out.
It's ridiculous.
So we're just
Shooting themselves in the
removing,
foot.
yeah, we're just removing people's ability to watch even more. I don't know. I would think hopefully we'll see an expansion of some sorts in the next
Be very cool.
6 years.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to have some new teams.
And they'll probably add another round of playoffs on top of that.
Yeah, probably.
I think it'd be kind of cool to get the Expos back of all teams. Let's get them back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down with it.
that was a good team to have. Do you guys think the Rays are going to stay there in Tampa Bay?
They need a new stadium, without a doubt. And
They need
it doesn't
fans.
sound like that's going to happen. Well, I mean,
Everybody in Tampa is a New York fan, a Yankees fan because that's where like the Yankees, isn't that where their spring training is down there? Somewhere near there?
maybe they'll move to Nashville.
Maybe.
That's a possibility. Yeah,
Like, I think
Nashville
that would-
or Charlotte. Well, I think actually weren't they trying to? They were trying to split their season. Like they put in a bid to like split their
that's
season
right.
between Montreal
That's right.
and
Yeah.
Tampa. And MLB was like, "Yeah, that's stupid. Don't do that."
Yeah, they
But
saw
it's-
what Toronto did during COVID and
Yeah.
said,
I don't know. Regardless, they need a new stadium
absolutely.
because that thing is a
And they're
dump.
still
Have
consistently
you guys
good.
ever
That's
been?
what's,
No. And they'd be even better in a better stadium.
yeah, it's true.
Maybe, or maybe that's the reason why they're so good is because
I mean,
when people go to play there,
because they lose balls in the
yeah,
in the catwalks.
opposing teams are just like, Jesus Christ, we have to play in this piece of shit. Okay, time for a bad movie review.
Boy, do we have a stinker.
Yeah. Listeners, if you haven't checked out our very first episode yet, go back and do so. We reviewed the movie Ed, and
Classic.
it was a doozy. I think you're going to enjoy it. But this week, we watched The Bad News Bears Go to Japan. Boy, did this
Where
one
to begin?
Yeah, this one lived up to the hype. If you need any indication of how bad this movie was, the Rotten Tomatoes score is, I think, 7%, maybe 6%.
Six.
Way too much. Way too much.
That is, yeah.
So sit back, relax, and let us tell you the story of how the Bad News Bears went to Japan.
We're going to do a plot summary because the plot is not very coherent.
I'm going to do my best, and I think
Okay.
I think I jotted down what I think is the plot.
What you
But
remember?
it's hairy. Yeah. So first of all, I knew it was going to be bad since Walter Matthau isn't in it, right?
No.
Like you can't have Bad News Bears without Walter Matthau. So it stars Tony Curtis,
Fucking
who is
Tony
most
Curtis,
famous for
man.
being Jamie Lee Curtis's dad.
God, he was just
he
pissing me off that whole
plays-
movie. God. Anyway, sorry. Go
He
ahead.
plays Marvin Lazar. No, it's fine. He plays Marvin Lazar, who is a promoter of some sort, I guess, who is deep in debt, and like we know that from the onset. But and then it's basically the whole cast of the kids who play the Bad News Bears. Nobody significant, really.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yes, who
He was
I
like
did not know
29
was
and he played with a bunch of
significant.
14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So listeners, keep in mind this movie was made in 1978. So we knew going into it that there would be some stereotyping and maybe
Problematic.
maybe a little slight racism happening.
Or not so slight.
Or not so slight. Yeah, true. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but there were definitely some uncomfortable scenes throughout the whole thing. But again, not as bad as I expected it to be. So the movie starts out like a lot of movies in the 70s and 80s did, with a little animated intro.
which was the best part of the movie?
And stereotypical Japanese music.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And they play up like the whole like USA versus Japan thing. Even at the end of the intro, they had the Bad News Bears holding up a flag, just like they did. You know, they were trying to recreate. The famous photo from Iwo Jima, right?
Yeah.
Where they're standing on that hill. The Marines are standing on the hill, putting the USA flag down in the hill. It was awful. It was bad from the get-go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the opening scene has the team at one of the players' house. They're just hanging out together, and they're watching an old war movie, which just so happened to be based in Japan. And they changed the channel to see what I guess is like the Japanese national baseball team or something like that. We'll call them that, the national baseball team of Japan. And they're talking to some reporters, but the Japanese baseball team is upset because apparently the American baseball team decided not to go to Japan and play with them. So the coach of the Japanese team said he thinks that the Americans are chickens. Right? And this gets the Bad News Bears riled up because they're like, come on.
We ain't no chickens.
Yeah, we're not no chickens. So it doesn't sit well with them, and they decide to take action. By the way, the plot of this movie moves super fast, and it's really hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It moves super fast, but at the same time doesn't go anywhere.
No, yeah. Like I still really
meanders
don't know what
super fast.
the fuck this movie was about. Like it's just so awful. So anyway, the next morning they decide to go on TV, right? Just like that, they're able to get on TV, and
With Regis Philbin.
yeah, with Regis Philbin. Oh wait, was that Regis Philbin?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice
And
that.
Kathy Lee or something.
I think it was before Kathy Lee, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's Regis.
Okay, I
And
didn't.
a younger Regis.
So they go on TV because they're trying to raise money to go to Japan so they can play against them and show them who the Bad News Bears are. So Tony Curtis, or Marvin Lazar as we're going to call him, he wakes up in the morning and he's all hungover and shit, and he's getting phone calls about how he owes like $75,000 to somebody and his alimony checks need to be sent in. Basically just painting the picture that he's broke, right? And like I said, he's a promoter of some sort. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on what he does for a living?
I wouldn't
clue.
even say promoter. He's more like a hustler, an actor.
Yeah,
or
okay.
like
So he's a
has-been.
kinda-
hustler.
Yeah.
But he sees the Bad News Bears on TV asking for money, and he gets an idea. Little light bulb goes off. He invites the team to lunch. Well, there was never really that scene where he invites them to lunch.
Right.
We just see him sitting at like a big table with empty chairs, and then all the Bears come in, and he's going to buy them lunch, and he tells them that he's paying for them to go to Japan to play baseball, which is really weird because they just showed that he's like super fucking broke, and how's he going to pay for all of them to go to Japan? It doesn't really matter because the next day they're on a plane to Japan, or they're already arriving in Japan. 12 kids plus Marvin Lazar.
Wasn't there something about if they win, the U.S. wins the game, or whoever wins the game, they get $10,000? And then that's kind of what he was like, oh, I can get that money, and that's going to help me pay off whatever, some of my debts. Something like that.
Yeah, that might have been something. Like, maybe I missed that. If
I mean, there's so many major plot points given in just a single line. Not major plot points because there's not even a major plot.
Yeah.
But plot points given with just a passing phrase like, oh yeah, we'll do this. And then the next scene, they're doing that. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they go to Japan. They arrive in Japan. Oh, wait. Also, like, where are the fucking parents in this situation? Like, you're just going to let
they
your
don't
kid
exist.
go halfway across the world with,
Yep.
with
Especially
this
the little
stranger?
kid, too. Mustafa.
Yeah, he's like 6.
He's like 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, and they're
6,
like, oh,
yeah.
go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can go to Japan with this creepy dude. So they land in Japan, and the Japanese baseball team is waiting for them there at the airport. They're like greeting them. They've got flags. They're, they're ready to go. They're excited, but things go bad from there. They get into a fight on the tarmac because one of the Japanese kids makes fun of the American kids. I don't
Fat
remember
kid.
what for.
He like touched the fat kid's
Oh,
belly.
okay. Maybe that's what it was.
Rude, man.
Yeah.
Rude. You don't
So
touch our
they started
bellies,
a
man.
fight. So the rivalry begins there at the airport, right? And this is kind of where the story just starts to drift and really has no flow whatsoever.
We've gotten them to Japan. We've fulfilled the title. Anything after is just bonus.
Yeah. And I think the whole point of him bringing the team over to Japan is so he can like promote it and put it on TV and make some money off of them, right? I think that's his whole
Part of it,
hustle.
yeah. Yeah.
He sets up what I think is like an exhibition game, so like a TV executive can see what he wants to put on, and like Marvin's explaining what he wants to see. Like, we're gonna put it on TV and it's gonna go great. We're gonna do this and do that. It doesn't go well. The Bears get their asses kicked like 10-1, and the exec is like, yeah, nobody really wants to watch this shit. So he leaves, and Marvin has to come up with a new plan.
You paid so much more attention than I did, dude.
Yeah, it took me
Just a heads up.
I kind of rewatched a little bit of it. The
Crazy.
writers definitely decided to use up some like typical Japanese stereotypes, because the next scene after the game is like one of the players. It's that actor we were talking about, Jackie Earl. What's his name?
Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
He's walking down a street in Tokyo when he eyes a geisha walking down the street all by herself. And so like the next 5 minutes of the movie is him just being super creepy,
Very creepy.
following
Very.
her around everywhere. He like goes to a music lesson, and he's like peeking around a pole or a post or something like that. He follows her on the subway. Eventually, like, he goes to her house, and he's like, hey, maybe I should just spend the night. He's like climbing the fence to try and get to
Yeah,
her.
he's over the gate and everything.
Yeah. And he says, dinner tomorrow night. And don't say no. I know where you live.
Damn.
Like, it's
Classic pickup line.
yeah, classic
Yeah.
pickup line. It's just a really weird
I
saying.
know where you live.
Yeah. So that's like another subplot that we have going on here. Later that night, it turns out that, shocking, Marvin's credit cards have been declined. I don't know how he got there in the first place, but whatever.
His diners.
So they're
club
not allowed
card.
to leave this. Yeah, they're not, and he gets them cut up. The credit cards get cut up there on site. They're not allowed to leave until they pay up. So Marvin has to come up with something else. He's got to hustle out here in Japan as well. So he goes to find the TV execs who are at a martial arts competition of some sort.
That we watch for quite a while.
Yeah, it goes on for a long time. This is probably 10 minutes of the movie, I would say. And it's USA versus Japan, of course, right? There's a guy from the US. I can't remember his name. It was like Bone Crusher or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
and then a guy from Japan. But all they're doing is like breaking pieces of wood and concrete with their hands and their head. It's pretty great. Until the U.S. competitor hits his head so hard it knocks him out. So he can't continue the competition. This sends the TV execs into like a frenzy, right? They don't know what to do. They're supposed to have like another match later that night between the two, but this one is not with pieces of wood and concrete. It's like an actual fight, but it's set up like a wrestling match. I'm still confused.
Yeah. It didn't make much sense.
Yeah, but
No.
either way, it gives Marvin a brilliant idea to make some money to pay for the hotel. And what does he do? He finds a replacement. And who is that replacement, guys? It's
Marvin.
himself.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, it's Marvin. So he puts on this costume that kind of looks like it's almost like a luchador costume. That's what I thought of when I first saw it. Like, again, and I don't think it's a wrestling match, but he's acting like it's a wrestling match. So he puts on this costume, gets in the ring to go against this guy, and basically tries to flop, but still ends up like getting his ass kicked until the Bad News Bears jump in the ring and they save the day and they kick the other guy's ass.
We ain't no chickens.
And then they win the match. Yeah, they win the match for Marvin. And so like after that we have like the classic montage of newsreels, right? For whatever reason, it was a big deal. Marvin won the match. The Bears are on the news. We see newspapers flowing by, kind of like in the when we watched Ed. It's the same little montage of newspapers. And this is where it kind of goes off the rails from here. And this is where I really got lost as to what was going on. And maybe you guys can help me out with this. But all of a sudden they were like on a train with the Japanese baseball team going across the country. And I think they're trying to promote their upcoming game against each other, but it was never like, it just shows them going into like little towns in Japan. They go to like a World War II memorial. Marvin is just kind of being a sleazy asshole the whole time, which I guess
Thinking he's smooth talking when he's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was one weird part where they had to go to a game show, and this was like another 20 minutes of them being in a game show. And the coach of the Japanese team had to like get up and sing. I don't know what the game show was about or why he was singing.
Right. Why he was singing. But that actor who plays the Japanese head coach is a very famous samurai movie actor.
Oh, okay.
His singing was fantastic.
His singing was so good.
It was really fucking awful to watch. Okay.
Gotta finish it now.
Gotta finish it. the whole time this movie has nothing to do with baseball, really. Like
There's so little baseball in this
Yeah.
movie.
So little.
And at one point, like Marvin has a really weird birds and the bees talk with one of the kids, and the dialogue is just so it's just so fucking weird. Like I think the kid asked Marvin, he was like, "If when you're making babies, do you have to get naked?" Like what the fuck were the writers thinking?
And then it's like the whole response.
Yeah.
I ain't getting naked. I ain't gonna do it. This is like a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah. It's so gross.
Yes.
Also, a little update on our peeping Tom here. Apparently his shenanigans worked because he and the geisha are all like lovey-dovey now. So it's the feel-good story of the century, folks.
Yes.
Being creepy does work.
It does.
So like, yeah. So like 45 minutes of bullshit happens. Really nothing happens. And, it's coming time before the game. Marvin cuts a deal with some businessmen that he knows who are just miraculously in
Just
Tokyo. at the same
happen to
time.
be in Japan.
Basically, from what I got, they're going to put money on his team, on the Bad News Bears, if he lets these 3 kids join the team. And these kids are like 3 foot taller than everyone else. They're a little bit older. They're good baseball players or something like that. So it's a way for Marvin to make some more money. So like after all of the weird stuff that's going on, the weird sexual encounters, the weird like Marvin cutting deals, the end is nigh, finally, right? It's here. The day comes where the two teams are going to face off. They have the TV crews there, like the stands are full. There's like a band, which is kind of cool. You don't ever see bands at baseball games. And there's excitement in the air. Everybody's ready. The baseball scenes, the very few baseball scenes that they had in here were actually decent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I was pleasantly surprised they did a pretty good job for the most part. Like it wasn't like Ed where it was like stupid shit happening where there were no backflips on the field.
At least there was baseball though.
Yeah, there was baseball, and it was good. They showed some good defensive skills. Looks like they really trained hard for this. So the game starts, and the kids are the new kids. These new tall kids. They're put in the top of the order because these guys wanted him to bat first or something like that, and I think they had him pitch as well. But it causes a rift in the team. Like you can tell the tensions are high. Like everybody's like, what are these new assholes doing here?
Yep.
But the kids are good. Like they're good at baseball. I think they hit a home run or something like that. They're pitching well. So you think that all would be well, right? No. These new fuckers, they cause a fight with the Japanese team because they like slid into one of the players or something like that.
Right.
Everybody rushes out of the dugouts and there's like this battle going on. They're all fighting. Mainly with the new kids because they're the assholes. But the TV execs, they didn't like this and they decided to like shut the whole thing down. Everybody gets cleared out of the stadium, right? The game is over. I think the Japanese coach gets fired or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, he got fired like right after the game, I think is what it was. Anyway, like all this time and energy that Marvin has put into this big event, like all that time and energy is just wasted. Kind of like the time and energy I wasted watching this piece of shit. But so Marvin goes to cheer up the Japanese coach, and they get drunk in his apartment. Right? They're just getting drunk, eating some fucking steak, and just when they think that all hope is lost, they spot both of their teams like in a random field. They're up on like the 25th floor, and they look down and they're like, "Oh my God, it's our players. They're playing in a random field. They were just playing a pickup game, just having lots of fun together. They're just kids hanging out,
kids playing baseball.
Minus the three new kids that fucked everything up. They're not there. And at this point, Marvin comes to the realization that this hustle he's been trying to do the entire movie, it's not worth it, and he just decides then and there to give up on that part of his life. He's like, I'm done. So basically this whole movie was worthless because he's still broke as shit.
Yep.
And that's the end.
But now he has a heart of gold.
Yeah, now he has a heart of gold. That's the end of the movie. That's it. It's over.
The coach and him were like running across the field. They were running across the field. Oh yeah, they're just playing. And then the executives come back. Why do we get this on TV? Because they're just kids playing. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and then the kid who's now dating the geisha, he hit a home run, and he's running the bases, and at the same time
he didn't hit the home run yet. He was like had two strikes on him, and then he saw her walking up to it, and then he hit the home run and ran around really fast and kept on running until he got to her.
He didn't stop running. He just ran up to her, and they made out. It was really weird plot line. But that's the end of the movie. It was over after that. Thank God it was over.
Thankfully.
That was honestly, it was one of the worst movies I've seen.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Not just baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just
beyond
bad.
baseball bad.
I totally thought this was going to be padded with way too much kids playing baseball, and it would be super slow and boring. But man, it was very little baseball.
It was
so
way too much going on.
Nonstop Tony Curtis just being annoying. Just like, stop fucking talking, dude. You just won't stop talking. Oh, that made me so mad.
It is. Yeah, it's the worst movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's bad.
F minus.
So if the listeners out there made it through that review, you don't have to go and watch Bad News Bears
Don't do
Go to
it.
Japan. No. That's the
Nick's summary was much more coherent than the actual plot of the movie.
He cut out all the bullshit, really. So, and good job. Man.
Yeah, I saved you guys an hour.
A lot
and a
more
half.
interesting.
You're welcome. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode.
And what an episode it was.
It was great. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
I know I did.
Check us out on Podbean, Apple Podcasts,
We're on Spotify yet?
and
Google Podcasts,
Google Podcasts.
Pocket Cast.
Oh, dang.
Check out our new website,
Oh, dang.
What's the website?
wastedpitch.com.
Wastedpitch.com. That's easy
I
to
like
remember.
it. Yep.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.